guys, Will here with W.T.F car reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new 2022 Jaguar F-Type R. And huge thanks to Jaguar Tampa for making this review possible. Check out their Instagram, they got a whole bunch of cool stuff going on about their cars at all times. I'll leave a link to their inventory below too. And if you're looking for a new premium car or SUV in the Tampa area, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And for those of you guys who don't know, the F-Type has been Jaguar's two-door, two-seater performance coupe and convertible since 2013. That's when the first generation was released, taking over the XK platform and also taking the world by storm with this absolutely glorious 5-liter supercharged V8 engine, one of the best sounding motors on the market, pretty much unchanged after the facelift in 2019. The only difference is slightly more horsepower, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because this is one of the best motors on the road today. After the facelift, we're making 575 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, and a standard all-wheel drive system too, enough to get this sport coupe to 60 in the lower mid 3-second range. We already reviewed a 2019 pre-refresh F-Type R convertible with just rear-wheel drive, so I'm excited to see what the upgrades feel like for this post-refresh. Starting around $108,000, we do have about $4,000 in total options, which we'll go over as we start this review. But again, starting at $108,000, let's see what we get. So up front, you notice your post-refresh front end, larger grille area, steeper slope, and an upgraded hood. Not an upgraded hood, but an updated hood with the functional heat extractors. LED headlights are different too. We get 4-piece LED headlamps for the high and low beam, LED daytime running strip, full front parking sensing, R badge in the upper right corner of the grille, the red accented Jaguar badge in the center, full front parking sensing as we mentioned, F-Type badge in the lower grille area. And we can take a step back, really get a look at this beautiful Santorini black metallic paint, which shines incredibly in this Florida sun. Hopefully you guys can pick it up on camera. I'm also liking the larger air curtains we get for the post refresh. Functional, lead directly to your brakes, and intercooler for the supercharged V8, as well as improving the overall aerodynamics. But as far as the wheel and tire setup, we get these $500 upgraded full black rims. These are 10-spoke 20-inch rims with an offset for the front and rear. Up front we get the 265/35 ZR20 Pirelli P0 summer performance tires, some of the better summer performance tires in the business, which will really help performance. And we get the large Jaguar 4-piston brake calipers too, accented in red. I would like to see a little bit more going on when it comes to the brake caliper, maybe some drilled rotors, but really can't complain. These brakes do a great job getting this vehicle to a complete stop. Continuing along, I'm liking the heat extractor with the Jaguar badge right next to it. This black metallic paint's beautiful. Body color mirrors, LED turn signal on the glass. These are folding mirrors, of course, power folding with blind spot monitoring on it. The glass fills up the entire frame. Loving the black trim surrounding the window trim. No shiny chrome anywhere on this sport coupe. I'm also liking that black flare for the side skirt area too. The grab handle, I'm sure you guys have seen it 1,000 times, but to lock the vehicle up, you simply just push, and the mirrors are power folding when the car locks up, and to open it up, you simply just press this button. The vehicle opens up, and you can just open her up. Pretty self-explanatory. It could be a little bit tricky at first, but everybody gets used to it. Loving the flares in the hip area of this vehicle. That's probably the most pronounced styling element on the F-Type. I'm sure you guys have seen it a million times, but those rear hips are so aggressive. And as you mentioned, the rear wheel and tire setup is offset. Still 20-inch rims wrapped in the P0 Pirelli tires and a different brake caliper. It's only a single piston, but the tires back here are 305/30 ZR20, so wider compound out rear should really help putting the power down with this 575 horses, over 500 pound-feet of torque, and get that 0 to 60 as close to 3 seconds as possible. LED taillights, a little bit different compared to the pre-refresh, but we would still keep that signature F-Type rear styling. F-Type blacked out badging. Shout out Jaguar of Tampa for making this review possible. Jaguar badge on your rear deck lid spoiler, which is auto deploying, but you can also press a button to have it deployed at all times. Rear view camera beneath that Jaguar Tampa license plate bracket. R badge with the green and red contrast right next to it. Super distinguishing. I kind of wish this paint color was like a white or maybe a silver to really accent those black badges a little bit more, but this Santorini black metallic really shines. Your upper flared exhaust tips with a super aggressive rear diffuser. We could check all that out right now. I'm liking how that rear diffuser splits. But speaking of the exhaust tips, reverse lights right next to them. Let's start this 5-liter supercharged V8 up and hear how she sounds. Alright guys, that was the sound of the glorious 5-liter supercharged V8 sold by Jaguar. The gas cap is a push to open and premium fuel is recommended for optimal performance in this beast of a motor. But as far as the motor itself, we can open up this reverse opening hood, which is assisted with hydraulic struts. The heat extractors are functional, and here you have it, your 5-liter supercharged V8 making an upgraded compared to the P450 575 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. It made it to this 8-speed automatic transmission. You can expect 0 to 60 with this all-wheel drive system in the lower mid 3-second range, which is really impressive numbers, especially for a sports coupe starting over $100,000. You see your strut tower braces connected from your chassis to your strut towers. Also should help when it comes to handling, but we can shut this hood right up. Gotta be very careful because of the way that it closes. But other than that, we can take one last walk around this beautiful 2022 F-Type R. I love that updated front end styling. It looks so much sharper than before, and I loved the F-Type before. But with this updated post 2020 refresh, I think we could all agree that the exterior styling looks much better. Kind of reminds me of the Maserati Gran Turismo for that front end, especially from this angle right here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Really beautiful look. As far as the interior, this is a luxury sport coupe after all, so it's going to be also very impressive. We could open up right here and it says Jaguar on the door handle. Interesting touch, pretty cool. And full leather for the door panel. Only a single pane window, but it's pretty thick, and we get these really nice tints on it. The red contrast stitching for the upper portion and full red perforated leather in the center. Nice soft leather armrest, auto one touch for the both windows. Nice aluminum black accented door handle too, some chrome outside of it. 3-person memory seats. You can recline, drop, lift, and slide the seats, and fully adjustable 4-way lumbar control. Leather for the grab handle. 3 speakers for this Meridian audio system, which sounds absolutely incredible in this very small F-Type cabin. Beneath, soft touch for this area, but some hard plastic here. Nice felt lined area for this storage. Probably fit a foot long. No cup holders, but we get 2 cup holders in the center. Stepping inside our nameplate, which is nice. These seats are beautiful, similar to the P450, but we have a different color scheme with this red and black contrast with the red contrast stitching, and the same perforated material Jaguar embroidered in this little I guess I would say harness area, but nobody's gonna be using harnesses in this car. All right above, but overall the seats are incredible. They're heated and ventilated. But as far as this interior in general, let's take a step inside and really check it out. And outside of a few subtle differences, this interior is very similar to the P450 we reviewed. The differences include the contrast stitching. We get the suede material for the upper portion. Our badges throughout this interior too are on the steering wheel, but other than that, very similar overall. First thing we notice is that aluminum area up top, aluminum paddle shifters, auto headlamps with a very satisfying click for the turn signals, rain sensing wipers, of course, to be expected with a vehicle in this price point. The buttons on the left side, you get your voice commands and call settings, adjust between AM, FM, and Sirius. The skip controls and volume adjustments are also on your left side. This menu OK button adjusts your digitally illuminated infotainment, which is pretty tough to see, so yeah, there we go. That's a pretty good angle for you guys to see. You can adjust the layout simply by scrolling down, pressing layout. We're currently looking at 2-dial, which is my personal favorite. The 1-dial has a different appearance. You can also check out the full map, which shows you exactly that. Media, which will show you what song is currently playing with a digital speedo on the left side. Driver's assistance, also very similar. My personal favorites look at all times will probably be 2-dial. I also like 1-dial. I also like the full map, but for the purpose of this review, we'll leave it in the 2-dial modes. We can hop back, and outside of the display, we also get units and information panel, overall vehicle settings, which includes the security features, exterior lighting, and convenience features. One more click gets you the vehicle information, shows you the warnings, tire information, tire pressures, and the tire is spelled with a Y because we know the British do everything a little bit differently. Oil level, last alarm, vehicle VIN, you can see in your information center, which is, I don't want to show you guys that, but I'm sure it's available if you wanted to know the information. Nevertheless, we accidentally closed out. We also see the media, driver's assistance, which includes collision avoidance, steering assistance, speed limit awareness, driver condition monitor, trip, bank, and trim content, and your display settings, which we just went over. But I'm really liking it. The 190 mile an hour speedometer with a 200 mile slot, or about a 200 mile slot right next to it, which isn't actually illuminated. But again, the 10, 30, 50, 70, it's completely different. The British do everything very differently with their automobiles. About a 6,700 RPM tachometer. See how many miles are on the car, see how many miles are left in the fuel tank. All really impressive with this beautiful 12-inch display. We also get the 10-inch touchscreen, similar to the exact same out of the P450 we just reviewed. Our home screen includes this, overall settings, and the navigation. Well, we don't want to adjust any of that, but as far as the navigation screen, very responsive screen. We get a black layout, not a white like we did on the P450, but the resolution is still great. Response is surprisingly excellent. I know a lot of journalists complain that the display is a little bit dated, but I'm not going to be one of them. I personally think that this display is extremely functional. They were just really ahead of their time when the display was released. So considering that, this vehicle is still relatively modern. I don't see anything really that I find dated here. The air vents pop out when you turn the AC on. Dual zone auto climate control, heated and ventilated seats, auto AC and recirculation, hazards, max AC and rear defroster. Engine start stop, you get this faux aluminum trim surrounding the engine start stop, and the gear selector is outlined in some of this piano black with aluminum outside the gear selector itself. Red contrast stitch soft touch leather for where your knee will often hit. Really high quality material, guys. We have these drive mode select, snow and ice mode, normal mode, and dynamic mode. We'll start the review off in normal, transition into dynamic, and just see what the overall differences are. 12 volt, which looks like it could be converted into a cigarette outlet. Volume adjustments, traction control, exhaust, which we'll leave on for the purpose of this review. We'll turn it off at some point just to see how much quieter this car really gets. But I personally love hearing this 5-liter supercharged V8. It sounds so good, so we'll leave the exhaust on. Auto start stop we can disable, which we currently have disabled. If you don't want to use the automatic deploying spoiler, you can deploy it whenever you would like. And if you don't want it deployed once you cross like 70 miles per hour, you can press this button and fold it right back down. Good little spot for your key fob. Nice little oh crap handle if your driver is driving like a maniac and you're the passenger. The gear selector, as you mentioned, controls your 8-speed auto transmission. We can take a look at the backup camera, which has excellent resolution. Guidance lines, trajectory, we get 360 sensing whenever it loads up right there. And we can also add some extra trajectory markers, which is cool. Press this button and it shows us a different view, different angle for the backup camera. Press it one more time and it should return us right back to where we were. We can also turn off the parking sensors if you would like to for one reason or another. But other than that, we can also check out our manual shift controls, which are in the proper directions. We can press this helmet button, which is only available in dynamic mode. So we put this thing into dynamic mode, engine dynamic, gear shift dynamic, steering comfort, which I don't want. And steering should be in dynamic, suspension should be in dynamic. Everything is dynamic in dynamic mode, and we will test that out once we take it out for a drive. You press this button beneath, you could take a look at your stopwatch, G-forces, and your throttle to brake input, which comes with a graph as well. Really cool features, guys. And as far as the manual shift controls, as you mentioned, to upshift and downshift is in the proper directions. And if you don't want to use the gear selector, we get these beautiful aluminum paddle shifters. We can throw it right back into park and check out our home screen, which I personally like to look at the navigation personally. We get 2 cup holders with a pass-through, good spot for a phone, and we get these pushy things which should keep your drinks in place. We can shut this lid up, which exposes some flat black, and I will knock it a little bit because for a vehicle starting over $100,000, this area should be either a carbon fiber trim, brushed aluminum, give us some wood, but just like flat black looks a little bit on the cheaper side for this area. We get this beautiful leather trim though with some red contrast stitching. Solid storage, same as the P450. I'd expect you to fit maybe 3 16-ounce cans. Decent depth, but the overall space isn't really a whole lot, which is a reoccurring theme of this interior. There isn't really that much cargo space outside of like the trunk and the glove box and the center console. We do get a net back here. You can throw some car accessories in, maybe shove some stuff behind your passenger seat, but other than that, really not the most when it comes to space. 2 USB ports, SIM card, and a 12 volt. As far as the glove box, you can press this button outlined in Jaguar Est 1935, which it doesn't say for the center area like it did for the P450, but it does say for this button. You press the button and it is lined with felt, massive. It actually looks larger than the P450. I would expect you to fit between 25 and 30. License plates, pretty soft when it comes to the outside too. Nice luxurious touch. Frameless rear view mirror, 3 garage home link settings on it. To the left of the steering wheel, you have your trunk release, lane keep assist, fog lights, and your interior brightness or daytime running lights. And we get our hood release and aluminum outlined pedals, which you could hopefully check out. power tilt and telescoping steering wheel too. We get a fixed moonroof. This is a $1,200 option, which brings a ton of light into this cabin, ton of glare too. So for the purpose of this review, we'll leave it closed. I love that option. So for $1,200 we get the moonroof. For $500 we get those blacked out rims. Both I think are must-haves in an F-Type. They really transform this vehicle. This paint, this black metallic, is a $750 option. Personally, I think I would skip that because I'd rather have a lighter color anyway, so I could really see those black accents and the black badges. Really not a big deal though. Other than that, base price in this vehicle about $108,000, total price around $112,000. I'm liking it overall. This interior is very impressive. Let's check out the trunk real quick and then take this car out for a drive. So again, to open up the trunk, you press that button. It is a electric tailgate, so it opens and closes. We can shut this door right up. Same thing as the P450 we just reviewed as far as storage. Pretty impressive, not the most. It may not seem like a whole lot, but compared to the convertible, you're getting almost double when it comes to the overall trunk space. You can open up this little secret storage cubby, which is kind of tough to access, but once you do, you see that the secret storage is actually decently impressive. So I might recommend just taking that little cardboard thing and just throwing it away and just use that little deeper cutout for your tailgate. You can also remove this tonneau cover if you would like. But other than that, what you see is basically what you get. You press this button. As we mentioned, it is an electrically opening and closing tailgate, and as soon as it closes right up, we'll take one more little walk around of this 2022 Jaguar F-Type R. Absolute beast of a sport coupe. Probably one of my favorites on the road today. But again, that's about it. Let's take this 2022 Jaguar F-Type R 5-liter supercharged V8 out for a drive. All right, guys, now we're just about seeing everything we need to see with the inside and outside of this all-new 2022 Jaguar F-Type R supercharged 5-liter V8. Let's take it out for a drive. And I'm excited. We're currently in dynamic mode, and the steering actually feels heavy. Feels noticeably heavier than the P450, but we did say we'll start the review off in normal mode. So we'll do exactly that. Okay, cool. Normal mode, automatic. Gas pedal feels just as responsive as the P450, to be expected. Essentially the exact same motor, but we can take a step out, lean into it about like halfway. Oh, wow, this thing pulls really hard. Wow, but as soon as we get the chance, we can take a step out into this multiple lane highway, and I'll catch right back with you. All right, guys, taking a step out here, we can lean into it about halfway. Oh my God. Wow, this thing is really fast. I don't know if it's the tuning, but whatever it is, it feels a lot faster than the P450. Just with half throttle, it felt much torquier. But we're still just in normal mode. We'll throw it into dynamic mode, try out a pull with the paddle shifters, see what the differences are. But it feels pretty strong. I'm sure it's not surprising. I mean, this thing's got almost 600 horsepower. The turning radius is impressive, very impressive. But as soon as we can take a step out onto the highway, I'll catch right back with you. All right, guys, taking a step out here in dynamic mode. This should be a good opportunity to try an acceleration off the line. Full automatic, we'll let the car do its thing, and on the gas. Oh. Woo. Good freaking God, this thing is fast. And just on the highway, concrete pavement, it's pretty quiet. The isolation is not what this sports coupe's all about. It's all about that ridiculous performance, but it's still relatively quiet even on this concrete highway. We tried the paddle shifters. Woo! Good Lord, this thing is fast. And the brakes, they do a great job slowing you down. Definitely do the job. One more time. Woo! Those crackles and pops are just something else. What a blast of a vehicle to drive. But overall, the throttle response in dynamic is strong. You barely lean into that gas pedal and you are just moving very quickly. All right, guys, we can try out a real world U-turn. And one more time, first gear, lean into it. Whew. About half throttle, those gear shifts are still so ridiculously quick. Gotta love those rev match downshifts too. And like the initial turn-in is, you have so much feel through the wheel. It's truly remarkable too. One more time, downshift, on the gas. The performance in this vehicle is just so outstanding. Those crackles and pops too. It's incredible. We can throw right back into just regular automatic mode. We're still in dynamic and we keep our overdrive gears. We're about 2,000 RPM. We're at 1,700 RPM moving at highway speeds. I'm loving it. The steering feels surprisingly nimble. The handling is responsive. This is a tight feeling chassis. I understand this is a pretty expensive car, but you're getting a lot for the money. I think we could all agree on that. The performance is downright outstanding. Handling is great. The luxury and feel is also excellent. The only complaints that I honestly have in this vehicle are, look, check this out. Look how small this visor is. Look how tiny that mirror is. Like, they could have probably given us a little bit more with that. But if that's my only complaint with this car, I think that speaks tremendous volume. So overall, this is quite easily one of the most impressive performance two-seater coupes that we've had the chance to review in this channel. You might be thinking it's expensive. I mean, $108,000 is a lot of money. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But for instance, a 1LT CA Corvette, which has, like, say, a base price around $60,000, $65,000. Good luck finding one right now for under $100,000, brand new. You may find a used one for about $89,000, but a brand new 1LT Corvette right now is going to run you a lot more than you would expect. So considering that this vehicle competes with cars like the Porsche 911, Porsche Cayman, I guess, but this V8 sounds so much ridiculously better than anything else you're going to find in any of those cars. I would have to say that this F-Type R 100% without question takes the cake. This is such an incredible car, and since it's expensive, I'm going to park this thing back in the garage and then catch right back with you. All right, guys, we got this thing parked back up in Jaguar of Tampa, and again, huge thanks to them for making this review possible. What a hell of a beast. This is quite easily my favorite luxury performance coupe on the road today. This 5-liter supercharged V8 sounds absolutely insane. This car is, I'm just really grateful that this car exists. I had such a great time making this video. I want to give one more huge thanks to Jaguar of Tampa, and a huge thanks to all you guys for watching. I had, again, great time making this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, thank you so much. You know the channel is just not possible without the subscribers, and I really appreciate the constant support. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, leave a like too. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. That's how these videos get promoted to new people. Leave a comment, let me know what you like, let me know what you don't like. Leave a comment, let me know if there's any specific cars or trucks you'd like to see reviewed in this channel too, and I'll definitely try to get those videos for you as soon as possible. But other than that, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.